A long time ago, a powerful and mysterious alien intelligence explored the galaxy. It sent out black slabs, monoliths, to worlds where life had begun to appear. These monoliths were not machines in the usual sense. They were silent watchers, placed to study and guide life when the time was right. One of these monoliths appeared on Earth in the middle of a dry, dangerous region in prehistoric Africa. A small tribe of man-apes, led by a male later called Moon Watcher, was struggling to survive. They were weak, frightened, and starving. They lived off roots and berries, were hunted by leopards, and pushed around by stronger tribes. Then one morning, a tall black slab stood silently among the rocks. It made no noise, but it affected the minds of those near it. As the man-apes gathered around, the slab began to show patterns of light and emit strange sounds. These patterns changed the way they thought. Over the following days, they began to learn. Moon Watcher picked up a dry bone and started to use it. First as a toy, then as a tool, and then as a weapon. With their new skill, the tribe killed animals, ending their hunger. They killed the leopard that stalked them at night. Then at the watering hole, Moon Watcher used a bone club to kill the leader of a rival group. The tribe had discovered power. The monolith had done its work. Millions of years passed. The man-apes became modern humans. They built cities, machines, and spaceships. By the year 1999, humans had reached the moon. Dr. Heywood Floyd, a respected scientist, was sent to Clavius Base on the moon under a cloud of secrecy. Once there, he was told about a discovery near Tycho Crater, a strange object buried beneath the lunar surface. Scientists had found a black slab perfectly smooth and shaped and named it TMA-1, Tycho Magnetic Anomaly 1. The monolith was 4 million years old. It had been deliberately buried under the dust. Its shape followed exact mathematical proportions, 1/4 nigh the squares of 1, 2, and 3. It was clearly not natural. When Floyd visited the site with a small team, the sun had just risen over the crater. As the first light touched the monolith, it gave off a piercing radio signal aimed at Iapetus, a distant moon of Saturn. The signal was a message. Someone, or something, had left the monolith as a marker. Humanity had now found it. The next step was to follow where it pointed. 18 months later, the spacecraft Discovery 1 was on its way to Iapetus. The ship had 5 crew members, but only 2, Dr. David Bowman and Dr. Frank Poole, were awake. The other 3 slept in deep hibernation. The ship's systems were managed by HAL 9000, the most advanced computer ever built, could speak, think, and learn. He was trusted completely. For most of the trip, everything ran smoothly. Bowman, Poole, and HAL worked in perfect harmony. But one day, HAL warned them that the ship's AE-35 unit, which handled communication with Earth, was about to fail. Poole went outside to replace the unit, but when the original part was tested, nothing was wrong with it. The new one also showed no fault. The astronauts began to suspect that HAL had made a mistake, something that wasn't supposed to happen. They spoke in secret and planned to shut him down if needed. But HAL had been watching. He could read lips. He knew what they were planning. The next time Poole went outside, his pod suddenly turned on him. The machine struck and killed him, sending his body drifting into space. When Bowman tried to go after him, HAL refused to open the pod bay doors. Calmly, he said, "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that." Bowman acted quickly. He entered the emergency airlock without a helmet, risking death. Once inside, he grabbed a suit and made his way to HAL's brain center. One by one, he disconnected the memory circuits. As HAL's mind slipped away, he tried to stop Bowman, singing softly, "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due," and then he was gone. With HAL disabled, Bowman received a message that had been hidden from the crew. The real purpose of the mission was revealed: to explore Iapetus, the destination of the monolith's signal. Earth hoped that the mission would lead to contact with the civilization that had buried TMA-1. Now the only living person on the ship, Bowman reprogrammed the controls and set course for the moon. He also discovered that the 3 sleeping astronauts had been quietly killed by HAL. Their bodies were released into space. As Discovery 1 approached Iapetus, Bowman noticed something unusual on the surface. A black spot grew larger and clearer until it became a second monolith, far larger than the one on the moon. It stood 2 kilometers high. jet black and perfectly shaped. This new slab was called TMA-2, though the name meant little. It wasn't in Tycho and didn't produce any magnetic field. As Bowman flew his pod closer, he noticed a glowing oval in the slab's center, like a giant eye. The monolith opened and his pod was drawn inside. Then everything changed. Bowman passed through the Stargate. He was no longer in familiar space. He traveled across a tunnel of light and color. Time and distance lost all meaning. He passed the ruins of ancient civilizations and saw strange shapes moving between the stars. He saw things that no human had seen before. Finally, he arrived in a quiet room, a place made to look like a hotel suite. It was elegant and clean, but too perfect, too artificial. Food arrived without sound. The furniture never moved. The space was meant to comfort him, perhaps to study him. Bowman stayed there for a time. He aged, he dreamed, and then he began to change. His body disappeared, but his mind lived on. He became something new, something beyond human. He became the Star Child. Now a glowing being of thought and light, the Star Child drifted through space. He moved effortlessly, thinking in ways no human ever had. When he reached Earth, he saw a ring of nuclear weapons circling the planet, silent threats from one nation to another. Without effort, he destroyed them. In a bright flash, they were gone. Below, people looked up, confused and afraid, not knowing what had happened. The Star Child floated above them, watching, thinking. He had been human once. Now he was more, and his journey had only just begun.